guys good?
Yeah.
All right. Good evening. Thank you all for being here. Board member Calvin Lewis cannot attend tonight and sends his regrets. And board member Maureen Sheridan is joining remotely. And at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Leslie.
Mark DePace,
Here.
Amanda Grubler,
Here.
Kirsten Gustafson,
Here.
Diana Howard,
Here.
Calvin Lewis is absent, Matthew Mackerer,
Here.
Maureen Sheridan.
Now, acceptance of the agenda. Maureen pointed out that we do not have board discussion at the end of this agenda. Leslie, can we add that as number 12 on the list? And make a motion to add public discussion to our agenda for the evening?
Second.
All in favor? And then make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? And like to welcome Labona Prova, our student rep, to the board.
Hi,
It's time
sorry.
for a report.
Hello, it's so nice to meet you all. I was at the last board meeting, but I wasn't really able to introduce myself. So I'm the student council president, and I'll be going to 12th grade. It was really nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. Well, we look forward to having you here. That brings us to our ESSA grant presentation.
So, good evening. There we go. So my name is Christy Ferry. I'm the Executive Director of Business and Finance here for Hudson City School District. And this evening, I'm going to be discussing the 25-26 consultation and collaboration presentation for our title funding for ESSA funded programs. So as we begin, we'll start with our Hudson City School District mission. We embrace all students and inspire them to achieve their personal best as Blue Hawks and beyond. Our vision, we create and continually nurture an inclusive learning environment that honors the many passions, cultures, and talents of our students. As students, staff, and community, we commit to learning, exploring, and achieving together. Our guiding principles. We can accomplish our mission and achieve our vision if our principles consistently guide all of our work. To that end, we will be compassionate, foster acceptance and inclusion, respect and honor student voices, demonstrate respect for each other, of our school and community, and work together, believe in each other, act with courage, integrity, honesty, and transparency, be present, explore new ways to teach and learn. And our 6 keys: strengthen the instructional core, improve data-driven practices, promote a positive, inclusive school environment for all stakeholders, strengthen instructional leadership capacity, tiered approach to school support and intervention, and increase monitoring and accountability. So this evening we will be reviewing the title funding and the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, as amended by the Every Student Succeeds Act, contains several provisions requiring LEAs to consult and or collaborate with various groups in the development of the LEA's consolidated application and programs related to each title. A sign-in sheet is required to identify the various stakeholders that have been involved in the process. Today we will be reviewing each of these, and please note at this time, Title I Part A funds are the only funds that have been released by the federal government at this time. Titles 2 to 5 are still under federal review, and school districts have been advised to plan for some delays. But please note, in the past, title funds have not been approved by state ed as late as December. So although this feels a little alarming, that there's often a pause as the representatives review each of our applications. So there's no need to be alarmed yet. So ESSA total title grants, our total allocation, or what we've received last year, so the application has not been finalized at this point, but I did want to give you an overview of what we've received in the past. So last year we've received $830,412. And what is ESSA? So ESSA is a law that outlines how states can use federal money to support public schools. In January 2018, the federal government approved New York State's plan to spend the approximately $1.6 billion that the state receives annually under ESSA. And New York State, this comes right from their website. Why does it matter? Because New York State is committed to ensuring that all students succeed and thrive in school, no matter who they are, where they live, where they go to school, or where they come from. And since the fall of 2016, New York State asked for feedback to design a plan that improves equity, access, and opportunity for all students. And what do educators need to know? So on the ESSA section of New York State's Ed website, and anyone can go there anytime to read all about the different elements for educators and school district staff that are in the plan. And so that reference is right here on the presentation. As part of this, title funds under the ESSA Succeeds Act are federally funded and state administered and are allocated to local educational agencies, also referred to as LEAs, which are school districts, based on formulas that reflect student need, poverty, and program eligibility. The Elementary and Secondary Education Act contains several provisions requiring LEAs to consult and collaborate with various stakeholder groups, and that's what we're doing this evening. So Title I, Part A is for improving basic programs. So this federal program provides supplemental financial assistance to school districts or schools with a high percentage of children from low-income families to provide all children a significant opportunity to receive a fair, equitable, high-quality education and to close educational achievement gaps. And for example, in the title funding application here at Hudson City Schools, that funding was allocated previously last year. Like I said, this has not been completed at this time, is allocated towards reading specialists or math specialists, summer program, teacher salaries, decodable books, and equitable services for non-public schools. And this is our largest title funding allocation that we receive. Title II, Part A is for supporting effective instruction. This provides funds to all New York State local education agencies for the purposes of increasing student achievement consistent with New York State academic standards, improving the quality and effectiveness of teachers, principals, and other school leaders, increasing the number of teachers, principals, and other school leaders who are effective in improving student academic achievement in schools, and providing low-income and minority students greater access to effective teachers, principals, and other school leaders. And for example, funding is allocated towards instructional coaching and professional learning communities. Title III, Part A enables English language learners or multilingual learners and immigrant students to develop English language proficiency as well as access the state's challenging academic standards through the provision of high-quality instruction and support. For example, funding is allocated towards Lexia Learning, which is an adaptive blended learning program that supports emergent bilingual students or English language acquisition through academic conversations and supplemental language acquisition materials and books. Title IV, Part A is for student support and academic achievement and may be used in the following 3 content areas. So in this application, you do need to determine which section that you're going to be allocating funding for. We have well-rounded educational opportunities, safe and healthy students, and effective use of technology. Previously, the funding has been allocated towards effective use of technology, supplemental professional development to improve the use of technology to improve academic achievement, or well-rounded educational opportunities for accelerated learning exam fees, or for safe and healthy students or school resource officers to conduct like restorative practice circles or mentoring circles. And Title V, Part B, rural and low-income schools. So the Rural Education Achievement Program was established in ESSA to provide additional resources to assist rural districts in meeting state definitions of the New York State Accountability System. So formula allocations are provided to approximately 180 districts in New York State each year that are identified as meeting eligibility requirements for one of the 3 REAP programs. So for example, the funding here is allocated towards also Lexia Learning, program-based learning, STEM programming, supplies and materials for student engagement. So at this time, that concludes just the overview of the title funding here at Hudson City School District's informational. However, I welcome any comments or questions, and I also have a collaboration form that should be on the website tomorrow for anyone that would like to add a comment about the different information, and this presentation also will be also attached.
I have a question.
Yes.
I guess the way that, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the way that I'm reading this collaboration documentation form that we're signing, it reads like we're signing off that we've heard how our district is going to spend the money instead of just examples of it. And so it feels like we're missing a piece right now of like what, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like how are we actually using each bucket of money, and that we're signing off that we've been like consulted on our district's use of this money.
So what I've given you this evening is examples. So this is how we've used the funding in the past, and there's also allowables. And so the consultation collaboration, this is a time right now to present questions or suggestions based on the information that you've heard. So the signatures is that you've been a part of the presentation, or you viewed the presentation and you've had opportunity to be able to ask questions or have suggestions, or
right. I guess like what I would like to hear is what the initial plan is for how to use this money, so that then I can ask questions about that.
So typically, school districts reuse it the same way. So these are the needs that are identified for very similar like initiatives, and that's typically that they're repeated. And that looks like, if I look in the past applications, that has been done. I'm not sure that there's ever been a consultation or collaboration meeting like this before during a board meeting. But this is typically, I do like to present to the Board of Education or to schools. This is very late in the process. This usually happens in spring, and so I'm here tonight to offer this.
Got it. And the other stakeholders that are listed here have been consulted?
Not at this time. This is the meeting. This is the first meeting of a consultation or collaboration that is held.
Okay. because sorry, I don't mean to like get stuck on the form, but it reads to me like, for example, for Title I, it says we need to consult parents, teachers, administrators, other school leaders, paraprofessionals, and instructional support personnel as the like list that has to be consulted.
So the plan is written already?
No.
Okay.
No.
But you're saying it will be posted on the website, and will all of these other stakeholders be notified that they have an opportunity to make comments and give input?
Yes. And as like after this evening, so the process typically goes is that you go and you gather this information. This is step one. So if on Title I, I notice that there's no parents this evening, then I will be going to pursue parents and make sure they've seen the presentation and are gonna be able to have input into that.
Yeah, I guess I would just want to make sure, because like these other stakeholders aren't speaking participants in this meeting, that they
Right.
have an opportunity to actually give feedback.
Of course. So also, I can't submit the application unless all of those stakeholders have input. So they will have to have input. So although they're not here tonight, what we do have is elected officials, we have administrators, we have some staff members. So those all will be some of the categories that we hit this evening. And the other ones, any ones that are missing, then it's the role of whoever's in charge of the title funding to kind of make sure that those people are aware of the title funding and are collaborated and consulted.
And who is in charge of that then, for us?
So right now it's myself, and so I think previously it was a different member of the staff.
Okay.
I think the key term is collaboration or consultation. We're not a collaborating part and we haven't been consulted. This is a presentation. I think that's the word that we're stuck on, consultation and collaboration. So if we're signing this, we're basically saying we consulted, we were consulted, and we collaborated, but it's a presentation. I mean, I could be wrong by saying that, but I did see that you have a hot link to a Google form that people can fill out, but I don't know that they're aware that there's a Google form, and there's really nobody here tonight, so.
Yeah, we're gonna post it we'll post it on the website, make sure that it goes out to everybody in the community, all the groups that are listed. And perhaps, I mean, August, we can tell right now there's not a lot of people here, and I can't imagine that August will have a better crowd, but maybe in September we can revisit it and make sure we've gotten all of the accurate input that we need from everybody involved.
One thing we've done in the past, we've had meetings throughout the year, like in the library, and so if you don't, you can always have many modes of presentation. So this is one, and then we'll invite the families in to come, invite to come to the library sometime in August, and then we can do it again in September. So we always have presented collaboratively since I've been here but it's never been done at a board meeting. You're correct.
Okay, great. So yeah, this is a great first step. Thank you so much.
Oh, I have one question.
Of course.
Can you elaborate on the accelerated learning fees? Like, are those for like AP exams or? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any further questions?
Oh, wait, someone? When is the, so Maureen is asking, when is the application deadline? It's August 31st.
Okay. Still have to do the rest of it in August.
Yeah, and it usually goes through several revisions. So typically you'll submit your first application, and then state ed will look at it and then have some questions, and then they send it back. And that's why I think in the past we've had as late as I think December 31st in terms of an approval. And I will definitely keep the board updated as soon as we hear any more about funding being released. But we'll just plan accordingly. And so right now we have Title I, and 21st Century just was released just this week, so that's all good news.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, brings us to board reports. Audit committee.
Audit committee has no report at this time, but we will be scheduling a meeting for August.
Okay, facilities committee.
No report at this time?
Great. And Policy Committee.
Policy Committee met last week and really outlined some goals for this year and some work that we're going to do together. Hopefully everybody saw, speaking to the greater public here, that we are looking for input from school members, parents, community members to serve on the Policy Committee for this year. So please get your applications into Leslie if you're interested in that by August 11th. And then the other concrete update for the board today is the cell phone policy is on the agenda tonight as a first read and up for approval. We know that that is not common practice and that is not best practice in terms of what we want in terms of opportunity for people to give feedback and revisions. There is a deadline to submit your proposal to the state in order to be eligible for some additional funding to support the new cell phone policy. So what we would like to do is approve the policy tonight, recognizing that we know that it's going to take us a couple different iterations to get a cell phone policy right. And what we need to do is like launch the school year, try it, see what happens, revisit it. So this is, well, we're asking that this be finalized tonight. We don't expect this to be a one and done process. And so I just want to name that and want to make sure that people feel like there will be opportunity then to continue to give feedback, and we anticipate continuing to revise this policy several times through the year to best meet our needs, because we know this is a new endeavor that we are tackling to try to fully be cell phone free from bell to bell in our schools.
Great, thank you. We can have any further discussion about the policy when we get to new business. Next is the board president's report. We have a board retreat scheduled for August 4th. And you might ask yourself, what is a board retreat? Everybody noticed when they walked in, we have a new board welcome packet that we designed. Some of the goals for this welcome packet were to promote transparency, let the public know who we are and what we do, clarify the roles and responsibilities of the board, help build trust and shared understanding, and support effective participation both for board members and members of our community and staff. I'll just go through like a quick overview. You know, like everything else, what we do as a board is rooted in our mission and vision, which is a policy that has been approved by the board. And we're really here to set the goals and make sure everything that we do drives towards that and act as a bridge between the community and the district and try to make sure that the needs of every student are met equally. And then the role of the board. We really have three main roles. The first is establishing policy. You'll hear us talking a lot about policy this year. It is one of our main goals. We've overhauled the structure of the policy committee in the hopes that we can really dig in and make a lot of policy changes. Fiscal oversight, so developing a budget, monitoring expenses and audits, and making sure again that the budget reflects our policies, our mission, and our vision. And then we are the appointing authority as well. We hire and evaluate the superintendent and then appoint positions and staffing changes throughout the district based on recommendations by the superintendent. One thing important to note is that as a board, we directly oversee only 3 district employees: the superintendent, the board clerk, and the district treasurer. You'll see this handy little chart in here, sort of clearly illustrate on the left how the board, in conjunction with the superintendent, is responsible for policy and governance. And on the other side of the chart, the superintendent works with the district staff to implement that within all district operations. You'll see the little arrows in the middle. It is a circular loop. There should be feedback and changes and adjustments, like Amanda described with the cell phone policy. We can make the policy, see how it is working, and continue to revisit that. So another way to look at this is, sort of on the left, the board determines the what, and then the superintendent and the staff determine the how. The pamphlet goes into a little bit of the structure of the board. There are 7 of us here, but our authority is collective. We can only make decisions when we're at a legally convened meeting, and when we have a majority of board members in support of an action or item. And what that really means is that as individuals, we have no legal authority to make decisions, direct staff, or speak on behalf of the board unless the rest of the board agrees with those actions. Board committees, we just ran through the board reports. You'll see those every board meeting. Currently, the committees are Audit Committee, Facilities Committee, and Policy Committee. We are talking about potentially starting a Finance Committee. We have the ability to convene ad hoc committees if we deem it appropriate. In the past, there have been ad hoc committees for things like safety within our schools, superintendent searches, little things that the board decides we need a separate group to focus on. The brochure also gives a little bit of information on both the structure of board meetings and the way that the different types of meetings. So these business meetings that you see here are held once or twice a month. We operate by a set of rules called Robert's Rules of Orders and are also governed by New York State open meeting laws. Mentioned the different types of meetings. This is considered a business meeting. We also have the ability to have workshops where we do working sessions for discussion or deliberation that is open to the public. Board retreats like the one we have coming up on August 4th, those are private events where we really just work on the inner workings of the board, interpersonal relationships, how we want to operate and work together. And then we have executive sessions, so you'll see us leave. That's when we discuss sensitive matters like the personnel contracts or real estate, basically anything that is has legal liability behind it. And then meeting agendas, you have seen them printed out. You can get them in print at the front of the meeting, or they're available digitally on Board Docs. Board Docs is usually published on Friday evenings, although we're only legally required to do it 24 hours in advance. Board Docs will be changing its name to Diligent, its parent company, in the near future, although we expect the functionality to stay the same. And then speaking at a board meeting, we've adhere to a process that pretty much all school boards in New York State adhere to. Want to make the process transparent and equitable so that anybody who wants to speak has a chance to do so. The process is you sign up at the clerk's desk. You see the sign right up here in front of Leslie. Each speaker has up to 3 minutes to address the board, and then ask everybody to adhere to the following guidelines. So just state your name and your affiliation. I'm a parent, I'm a teacher, I live in Hudson. Address your remarks to the board and the board president. Avoid any personal grievances or naming individual students or staff, and ask everybody to use respectful and civil language. And this last point, we typically do not respond during board meetings. As we discussed, our authority is only as a whole, so it's hard for us to respond to a question in real time and ensure that everybody on the board agrees with that statement. And we also want to be very careful that we don't misspeak or provide misinformation. But if follow-up's necessary, you're welcome to follow up with the board clerk, who will make sure that we get a response from the board and address your questions. And finally is the chain of command. As a board, we only meet, again, once or twice a month, so a lot of times bringing questions to us is not going to be the quickest way to get your issue resolved. So that's why this chain of command exists. It starts with the classroom teacher at the top. If you have an issue in a classroom, that's where you go, followed by the building principal. Then the central office administration If it's still not resolved, you can bring things to the superintendent and finally to the board. If you have specific questions about policy, you can come to us directly. But for everything else, we would encourage you to start at the appropriate place in the chain of command and hopefully have your issues dealt with in a timely manner. And that's it. Anybody have any questions, comments? No? Great. With that said, that brings us to our first public forum.
And we have Nikki Janito.
All right.
Hi everyone, Mr. Janito. I'm an employee and graduate, parent, being president. With everything you just said, I have been asking the same question since April. I asked it April, May, June, we're in July now, where it is said that there's going to be savings from not hiring for retirees, and so on and so on. I've asked this, I still have not gotten an answer. You say you won't answer anything. This is the fourth month in a row, and a couple months I've answered this question more than once at budget meetings. When can I expect an answer?
Yeah, I know all those things are being actively worked on, and let us try and get to the bottom of some of it for you. We are working on it.
I mean, we already passed the budget. This is all stuff that said, this is gonna happen, this is the budget, this is how we're gonna do it, but now I can't get an answer. It seems shady and crazy and ridiculous.
Yeah, I understand your frustration. I do.
And that's it.
So this time we have the need for an early executive session. So I make a motion to enter executive session at 6:32 p.m. for the purpose of discussing the employment history of a particular person or persons.
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. We'll be back as quickly as possible. for your patience. I make a motion to exit executive session at 6:59 PM.
Second.
All in favor? Brings us to the personnel agenda. I make a motion to accept personnel agenda items A 1 through 15 and B 1 through 5.
Second.
All in favor? And it brings us to welcome new staff.
We don't have a new staff to welcome tonight.
She's not here today. Okay, great. And that brings us to the superintendent's report.
Good evening. Tonight's superintendent's report will be basically an overview of what's been happening during our summer programs. So just to summarize, our Summer Scholars Program, which is through the National Summer School Initiative, out of 100 scholars that are enrolled in the program, there are 60 students who attend regularly, while the remaining student attends sporadically or not at all. Most parents are supportive and recognize that the benefits of the program, and they do continue to bring their children. However, some students have expressed that they find the program to be a little boring, but staff members are trying to improve the student experience. So I went over and when I returned to the district, I went over Friday and Monday just to check on the summer scholars and all the programs. So I saw students working on math problems from math workbooks, and our summer program, scholars program, is really catered to tier 2 students. So this year, instead of catering to our lower performing students, we're catering to our tier 2 students. However, we did send backpacks home with our students, so in K through 8. So I do want to say, if there are parents listening and your child should have brought home a letter from the elementary school and I believe the junior high school telling you that you should pick up a backpack from the schools, please look through your child's bag to see if they brought that letter home. But also we have a list, and I know Ms. Paduzzi started calling parents today, and I have also volunteered to drop backpacks to homes if necessary so that we can make sure that all of our students are learning this summer. Next is the after-school summer program. The after-school summer program currently has 90 students enrolled in the elementary program. So with an average daily attendance of 75. Some students attend only half day after participating, because they're participating in the Summer Scholars Program in the morning. And the junior high school component has 12 students enrolled in the ASP program, with an average of about 10 students attending each day. Enrollment remains open, so I want everyone watching to know, and applications are still being accepted. The feedback from families, and I have spoken to some families, has been overwhelmingly positive. Parents are grateful for the program, enthusiastic about the opportunities provided, and then students are participating in new activities they might not have experienced otherwise. And I really saw some neat activities. They built a pinball machine, they built like an arm. So I did ask the students, a couple of students from the after-school program, they'll be coming to present, I believe, on the August 19th, just to show some of the neat activities that are happening with the STEM program, with the STEM approach at the ASP program. Our ESY program, there are 46 students who are currently enrolled, and with an average attendance of 37. Feedback has been positive and the program is running smoothly. Transportation pickup and drop-off times have become consistent, and all concerns have been tracked and communicated and resolved.
What's ESY? Sorry.
Extended school year.
And how's that different from summer scholars?
Well, ESY is for our students with IEPs.
Okay, got it. That's what I'm.
All right. Our high school summer school program. 63 students were eligible, 46 are enrolled in the program. Of these enrolled, 36 are taking courses in phys ed, English 9, English 10, English 11, Global 10, or U.S. History. And additionally, 8 students are taking health courses. So due to the challenges sometimes of, over the past few years in finding summer school teachers, we had to have Algebra 1, English 10, and Global 9 offered as an online credit recovery course through Questar. And so there are 10 students who are enrolled and they're completing their coursework in the high school library. And on August 19th and 20th, the school will administer 116 regents, and included in those 116 are for 45 for students from Chatham. And this has been done for years, where we collaborate with Chatham in the summer. And then feedback from students and families have been positive. They are grateful and expressed for the district providing these opportunities to recover credits and take necessary exams. And I did go into the library and visit with the students, and one of the parents, who is also an employee, did express her gratitude for her child just being able to work online for the credit recovery. And that ends my superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brings us to our consensus agenda. I make a motion to approve consensus agenda items A through N.
Second.
All in favor? And new business. We have the first reading of the policy 5695, students and personnel electronic devices. Amanda gave us a little bit of a rundown on it. Anybody have any further questions or comments? Okay, so then I make a motion that it's necessary to adopt policy 5695, students and personal electronic devices, upon its first reading, and make the motion to adopt policy 5695, students and personal electronic devices.
Second.
All in favor? Brings us to public forum. Leslie, did anybody else sign up?
Oh, can I sign up? I forgot to mention something. So last week, the social studies department came together and we had the Europe field trip. We went to so many countries. I was involved. I want to give a great shout out to the social studies teachers, Mr. Cookerstein, Miss Sullivan, Miss Bender, Miss Altebel. They've done so much for us, like the fundraising. Like I even got like $225 extra to spend on the trip. It was a great trip. The food was great. Our tour guide had so much information to give us on the history, on the culture there, the current things happening in Europe we should be mindful of. It really taught me to want to ride a bike, like seeing all these people on these bikes, the public transport system. It was an amazing trip with great people, with great tour guides, and yeah, I just wanted to express my gratitude. We went to Paris, a beautiful city in Switzerland called Lucerne. We went to Munich, and we visited Versailles. We visited the Louvre when we saw the Mona Lisa. It was a great time, and yes, that's all I want to say.
Awesome.
Huh?
What was the best place you went?
So, like everyone, like all the teachers and all students I've asked that were on this trip, they really found Switzerland, Lucerne, like the best. Like there was a beautiful beach there. We went to this we walked to this part of town. There was a beautiful castle. There was this community center with beach volleyball, a pool. They were playing cornhole every night we went by. So yes, and the weather was great. Like our tour guide was saying how like the day before we came there was like intense waves and storms. So and then we also visited the Alps. It was a great trip up. It was beautiful. So yes.
Thank you for
Sounds
sharing.
amazing.
Yeah.
And we have a board discussion. Anybody else have anything else to add? No? Great. Brings us to upcoming meeting dates. The following meetings are scheduled. August 5th, 2025, Special Board of Education meeting, High School Auditorium at 6 p.m., including the Smart Schools Investment Plan public hearing and District Safety Plan public hearing. August 12th, 2025, Policy Committee meeting, High School Library, 5 p.m. August 19th, 2025, regular Board of Education meeting, High School Auditorium, 6 p.m. August 22nd, 2025, Facilities Committee meeting, District Office Conference Room, 4 p.m. September 9th, 2025, Policy Committee meeting, High School Library, 5 p.m. September 16th, 2025, Facility Committees meeting, District Office Conference Room, 4 p.m. September 16th, 2025, regular Board of Education meeting, High School Auditorium, 6 p.m. At this time, we have a need for a second executive session and make a motion to enter executive session at 7:11 p.m. for the purposes of discussing real estate transactions and discussing the employment history of a particular person or persons, and to appoint Mark DePace as clerk pro tem.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you all for being here. There'll be no further business after this executive session.